Hi everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with a video idea that kind of came to me. It's going to be like a two-parter. I have another little thing that's going to go along with this, but when I was looking at the dedications to books, when I did the dedications that I love, which I will link in a card up above, I love that video. I decided to take a little bit of extra time and read some author bios, and some of them are kind of amusing. A lot of them are really factual. I live here with these animals, this husband, these kids, whatever it might be. I went to this school, whatever. And they're not as personal or funny or indicative of an author's personality, but some of them are pretty great. So I'm going to go over some author bios that I found to be really entertaining, and I hope that this is something that you guys are interested in. So let's jump right into some really cool author bios. As an author, as a writer, things like dedications and acknowledgments and author bios are important to me, and seeing the way that professionals craft those things is interesting to me. So when I went to the back of the books to look at some author bios, I was genuinely surprised that some of these were as witty and comical and amazing as they were, and I decided to share them with you and hopefully encourage you to take a little bit of time to learn a little bit about your author at the back of the books, or sometimes the beginning of the books. They're all over the place, but we're going to get into the stack of books that I pulled from my shelves that are author bios that I really enjoyed. Not to say that others are bad, these are just the ones that I thought were standouts. So first up is Tessa Gratton from Blood Magic. This is one of her older books, and I checked Strange Grace, which is up there, and it didn't have the same bio, but I kind of liked this one. And this one, right here on the back flap, says, Tessa Gratton wanted to be a paleontologist or a wizard since she was 7. She was too impatient to hunt dinosaurs, but is still searching for somebody to teach her magic. After traveling the world with her military family, she acquired a BA and the important parts of an MA in gender studies, then settled down in Kansas with her partner, her cats, and her mutant dog. Childhood dreams of paleontology and or being a wizard. It was just kind of like, it was comical. Then Katrina Leno, who has a different bio in Summer of Salt than she does in Everything All at Once. So particularly, I liked the one in Summer of Salt, which says right here, Katrina Leno is the author of Everything All at Once, The Lost and the Found, and The Half-Life of Molly Pierce. In real life, she lives in Los Angeles, but in her head, she lives on an imaginary island off the coast of New England, where it sometimes rains a lot. I thought that one was pretty cool. Who doesn't want to live off an imaginary island? I did not check The Half-Life of Molly Pierce, which I do have as well. Let's see if it is different. This one's pretty dull, so nothing special there. We're going to move on to Katherine Arden from The Bear and the Nightingale. And this one says, born in Austin, Texas, Katherine Arden spent a year of high school in Reims, France. Following her acceptance to Middlebury College in Vermont, she deferred enrollment for a year in order to live and study in Moscow. At Middlebury, she specialized in French and Russian literature. After receiving her BA, she moved to Maui, Hawaii, working on every kind of odd job imaginable, from grant writing to making crepes to guiding horse trips. Currently, she lives in Vermont, but you never really know. Which, to me, is less amusing and more like, goddamn, you've led a life. So, horse trails sounds great. Making crepes sounds fantastic. Living in Maui, who you? So, get it, girl. Then I have an entire stack that's just kind of like Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. But Jay Kristoff, in any of his bios, they're all different and they're all really humorous. So I have Lifelike here by Sir Jay Kristoff. Jay Kristoff is the New York Times and international best-selling author of the Lotus War trilogy, The Illuminae Files, and Nevernight Chronicles. He's 6'7" and has trouble operating a toaster, but still respects machines as necessary evil in our world. He lives in Melbourne, Australia with his wife and a rescue dog that he thinks is made of 100% organic parts. Given the subject of this book and machinery, I thought that one was pretty amusing. Then we have Illuminae. And this one simply says, collectively, they are 12 feet 5 inches tall and live in Melbourne, Australia, with 2 long-suffering spouses, 2 rescue dogs, and a plentiful supply of caffeine. They met thanks to international taxation law and stuck together due to a shared love of blowing things up and breaking hearts. Sorry guys, my battery died, but luckily I always have another one charging. So, Obsidio. So this is like kind of a normal bio after a certain point, but I thought the beginning was fun. says Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, who are always photographed together, which is cute. Feast upon your tears and relish your screams. It's amusing to me. He does have different ones too in God's Grave and in Nevernight, but I'm not pulling them all down because I feel like you're Jay Kristoffed out. You get what I'm saying, right? The Bone Witch by Rin Chapeko. I put a little tab in here so I could get back to it pretty easily. This one has no author picture. It simply says, Rin Chapeko wrote obscure manuals for complicated computer programs, talked people out of their money at event shows, and did many other terrible things. She now writes about ghosts and fairy tales, but is still sometimes mistaken for a revenant. Then we have Leslie Walton from The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. And again, I have a little post-it, little tab in here. This one says, Leslie Walton was born in the Pacific Northwest. Perhaps because of this, she has developed a strange kinship with the daffodil. She, too, can achieve beauty only after a long, cold sulk in the rain. Her debut novel, The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender, was inspired by a particularly long sulk in a particularly cold rainstorm, during which she pondered the logic, or rather, the lack of logic, of love. The ways we coax ourselves to love, the continuing to leave love behind. Leslie Walton lives in Seattle. Okay. Then we have Myra Grant from Into the Drowning Deep. Best-selling author Myra Grant lives in Washington, sleeps with a machete under her bed, and highly suggests you do the same. There's more, but that's all that matters, right? Then we have Born Sinner by S.L. Jennings. This one I've read through the entirety, I think, of this series at this point. And I did do a reread vlog, like a Throwback Thursday on this one. It is an indie published, super, super dark and troubling, like, Smexitam novel. And I enjoy it. But the author bio is probably the best. She does have a picture back here, and it says, most known for her starring role in a popular sitcom as a child, S.L. Jennings went on to earn her law degree from Harvard at the young age of 16. While studying for the bar exam and recording her debut hit album, she also won the Nobel Prize for her groundbreaking invention of calorie-free wine. When she isn't conquering the seas in her yacht or flying her Gulfstream, she likes to spin elaborate webs of lies and has even documented a few of those said falsehoods. Clearly none of that is true. Maybe some of it is true. I don't really know, but it amused me because, like, you took the time to talk about yourself to just, like, spin your web of lies, girl. Get it. And it really amused me. So, that was my big old stack. I'm going to try to pick these up. It's going to be a disaster. That is my stack of books. A lot of these are annotated and loved and favorite books that I thought had author bios that just amused me. So take a little time in the front of the book, take a little time in the back of the book, get to know the authors, get to know a little bit of insight into why they wrote a story, for whom they wrote a story, a little bit about themselves. I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. That's it for this one. If you liked it, be sure to give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye, guys.